Taking a walk is becoming more dangerous than most of us think. Pedestrian-related crashes in Manitoba are on the rise. Since 2019, there have been, on average, 19 pedestrian deaths every year in this province. In fact, in 2022, the peak, 22 pedestrians died. And joining me now to talk more about these concerning statistics and how you can keep yourself and your family safe is Seel with Manitoba Public Insurance. Tara, good to speak with you.
Hi, Maralee. Thanks for having me.
First, just how concerning are these statistics I just shared?
I think they're extraordinarily concerning. This means that, this year alone, 12 Manitobans aren't going home, and it's because they were walking on the road. Walking on the road should not be a death sentence, and for those 12 people, it was. So it's very concerning.
Yeah. 12 this year as far as fatalities. Where are we at in terms of pedestrian-related crashes?
Yeah, we have 271 total, with the majority of those happening in urban areas, and 44 of those collisions happening in rural areas. So they really are happening all over the province, while for sure we're seeing larger proportions in urban areas.
And this time of year is particularly dangerous for pedestrians, as we often see these crashes occurring more often at this time of year, right? Why is that?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We do see higher incidence of pedestrian collisions in the fall and winter months. There is no real data proving why that's the case. That's what the numbers are. I don't know if it's, kids being back in school and families getting back into the routines and just being out and about in those urban areas a little bit more. That could be it. But again, no hard data to say, but we do know that most of those collisions occur between 3 and 5 p.m. at night. So it's really when people are heading home from work or school, doing that afternoon commute. That's where we're seeing the most collisions occurring.
So what is your advice to pedestrians?
Our advice to pedestrians is, be alert. So many times I personally have seen a pedestrian with earbuds in, looking at their phone, hit that button on the crosswalk and just step out into traffic. And yes, they absolutely do have the right of way, but there should never be an expectation that there's no traffic, right? So pedestrians really need to look and make sure that there's no cars coming or that traffic has come to a complete stop. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention for that. Go back to basics. Look both ways before you cross the street. Where that's one simple thing you can do to save your life. Another thing that we would recommend for pedestrians to do is to wear reflective clothing, especially if you're walking at dusk or in the evening, so that vehicles and the drivers can see you a little easier. You want to make sure that you're visible to others using the roadway to eliminate the probability of having a collision.
An important note, given how fast it gets dark this time of year, you might leave and it's not dark out, but halfway through your walk it is. What about drivers? We know they play a role in this as well. What should they be doing to ensure safety? The number one thing that MPI tells drivers in order to be safe in all situations is slow down. And that applies here too, right? If drivers slow down, you have more chance of seeing a pedestrian step out onto the roadway and being able to react in time. But specifically, you want to make sure that you're slowing down around crosswalks and school zones. Crosswalks, you can anticipate pedestrians will be there. School zones, children are unpredictable, as we all know, so they can kind of jump out into traffic at any point. So you just want to be careful when you're around schools or playgrounds, that type of thing. If you can, make eye contact with the pedestrians so that they know that you see them and can stop. You want to wait until the pedestrian has crossed all the way across the street. Don't wait until they're kind of off your half of the roadway. You want to make sure they're safely on the other side on the sidewalk before you proceed. Those are just a couple things that everyone can do to make sure that all road users are able to use the road safely, because we do have to recognize that pedestrians are extremely vulnerable. They don't have the protection of the metal framing, the airbags, those types of things, right? There's absolutely no protection for them when they're on the roadway. Some very important and timely tips. Tara, thanks so much for sharing them with us tonight.
Thanks, Maralee. I appreciate it.